So this is my Hunter 19-foot sailboat 1996 that I am selling. As in the posting, I am moving away from Florida to landlocked Colorado and sadly have to sell this beautiful boat. I'll start off by showing you the cabin and some of the features, including the head, hatch, stove, interior cabin lights, and bilge pump. We will then go through some of the basic functions of the boat, including raising and lowering the mainsail, working the furling headsail, starting and running the outboard engine. I will then demonstrate how to access the water ballast system and how to remove the beam and lower the mast, as well as remove the furling headsail for trailering and storage. Finally, I will show you some footage of us sailing the boat in light wind.
Okay, here's the boat out of water. So this is obviously the main cockpit area. Just wanted to show the stays off to the side, which you could see earlier. And then the mast sits in this system with a crutch that goes down and anchors to the boat. So go down here. Come on. Some of this rigging in the way here. So then here's the inside of the boat. And then, plenty of space down under here where you could sleep 2 people. And then just want to show there's this here, and this unscrews, and this flips up. It's hitting the mast right now, but that'll flip up, stay up. Underneath here, so this section removes. Do this one-handed here. So this section removes. So here's where the toilet is. It's never been used before, but it's underneath here. And it's brand new. And of course this would go back in. And then underneath here we have a stove that's never been used, a little storage container. There's a water jug over here. There's a depth finder here. It's just disconnected. It just needs an adapter to be wired into an adapter that goes to the cigarette lighter. Over here we have the control panel. So I can turn on the cabin lights. You can see the lights come on in the boat. And then there's also, you can hear, so there's the bilge pump here, which is just, there's probably not any water, but you can hear underneath there. That's where the bilge pump is. And that's right there. There's actually a tiny bit of moisture in here, so I'll run it. You can see it. Bilging out that last little bit of moisture in here. And I just want to show the rigging. We'll put the mast down, so this baby stay and then the mainstay. And then the mainstays, okay? And then the forward stay is actually the headsail, so, or the furling headsail. So this jib hooks to here, and this is the furler here, and of course it's a flexible furler, but has a lot of torsion strength.
Okay, so I'm going to be going through just some of the basic functions of the boat. So I unhook the line where I keep it clipped there to keep it out of any moisture, keep the lines organized. So I'll be getting them all set up for use. And then I'm going to show some of the basic rigging here. So from left to right, we have the main halyard. We have the starboard jib sheet. We have the line for raising and lowering the centerboard, and it uses this pulley to get you more leverage there. And then we have the furling line, and I will demonstrate use of each of these. So I'll remove the boot, Keeps the sail covered and protected. And then I keep one or two bungees around the sail just to keep it a little more organized. So then I'm going to pull on the main halyard and raise the mainsail. You can see it's very easy to do this one-handed. Sail is in good condition, and I recently replaced many of the plastic clips that hold the sail to the mast. And they slide fairly easily. So this is again that furling line. So pulling this line is what furls the headsail in. So in order to unfurl the sail, you release that furling line off the cleat, and then you pull either the port or starboard jib sheet to pull it out. It comes out very easily, just like so. You cleat it down. So then if you want to switch sides while you're sailing, you just release that off the cleat and pull the other side, in this case the starboard jib sheet, and it comes across. So there's no wind right there, so it's not obviously pulling across, but that's all you have to do. Want to furl it in, you just pull that furling line and it spins right up and stores up, which is nice to do in a strong wind to depower things, or just when you're ready to put it away. So then I'm just going to show the lowering of the rudder. So there's a large wing nut, and just unscrew that. And there's also a line that helps keep it held up, or helps you pull in the opposite way, will help pull it down to get it all the way down. So this is in very shallow water. You can see this boat draws very little water. It's freely floating, and it's in again very shallow water at this low tide situation. But so I won't tighten anything until I'm out. But here's obviously the step ladder, which works well. There's the two lockers in the cockpit. There's nothing in the port one. The starboard locker contains the gas tank for the engine. So then I'll just demonstrate lowering the centerboard. So you just release that, and it falls down by its own weight. It does require a little bit of effort to pull it up. It's just two hands and a pull, and it comes up, and you can feel it and hear it hit the center of the bottom of the boat. You know it's up. So then to lower the mainsail, you just release the main halyard and pull it down. And then I just throw a bungee around it to keep it organized. And then I would put the boot on to cover it. So here's the engine here, so trying to go slow because there's this little thing you just pull on to release that holds it up, and it lowers easily down into the water. So then there's the little key here, which I didn't do a very good job of angling the camera so you can see it, but it's just like any other jet ski key or anything. You just clip it in, and it gets the powers the engine, so you can see it there at the bottom. And if you want to pull that at any time, it'll just shut the engine off. And I just keep it, attached there. So there's put it in neutral, give the gas line a few pumps, pull out the clutch, and I untied the boat to get it ready to go. Give us a little gas here. Gas, obviously. Make sure that's in neutral. Rudder out of the way here. with the rudder down, you can use the rudder to steer, or with it up, you can use the motor. And you can see it powers the boat at a pretty good clip, probably around 6 to 8 knots. And since it's a 4-stroke engine, there's no need for mixing oil and gas. So with the boat up on a trailer, you can drain the water ballast system. So obviously here's the steps that come down in the boat. You remove the bottom step, and here's the valve system that opens where the water comes in and out. So remove this ring and unscrew this, and this will allow the water to drain. Of course, there's air that needs to allow it to come in, so there's an airflow release here. And so that air comes in, the water drains out with it up on the trailer. So now we'll go over how to remove the beam and then lower the mast. So there's a pin here. So I'll just unscrew the ring. I will remove the pin. And there's a little cotter pin here that pulls out. And the beam comes off very easily. The main sheet here clips off easily as well from the cockpit. Just pull the little ring and it releases. And this then can be bundled together and be stored away. So here again is that main halyard, and you can follow it here from where it cleats down, comes through this pulley and goes internally into the mast, runs up the mast, and then I have it kind of coming down from the mast down here where it would normally attach to the mainsail, and I've wrapped it around the winch here. So this allows you to, or it holds tight to assist you in raising the mast when you raise it, and also help stabilize it when you're ready to lower it. So as we showed earlier, the Furling Headsail is the forward stay, and so to lower the mast you have to release this. So as with everything else, there's a pin to be pulled out, so I'll remove this ring and then I'll pull the pin. So I have my wife standing by the mast. Again, there's the main halyard, which is attached to the winch to help stabilize it, and she's just leaning against it just to extra assistance to make sure it doesn't come crashing down. It requires almost no effort to hold it up. So I'll use my trusty Leatherman to pop this pin out. And you can see that she's just leaning against it. And that goes on slack for now. Then I'll come up into the boat to lower the mast. So I'll take that main halyard and I will unwrap it from that winch to allow it to come down. Jennifer's just going to hold on to the Furling Headsail here to support it as I lower this down. So again, there's that crutch that's in the back that I showed earlier in the video that helps support this. I didn't bring it with me on this day. I forgot it in the garage, so Jennifer just held the mast while I removed it, so she's just going to hold it there. But normally there's the crutch that sits in, which makes this a little bit easier. So again, I remove the ring and pulled the pin. Remove the ring and pull the pin. And then that wire there for the lights unscrews. So here's how the furling headsail as the forward stay attaches to the mast, just with this pin system. So you just have to rotate it 90 degrees and it comes out. It's near the top of the mast, obviously, and it comes out. The lateral stays attached the same way. So I want to reference again this picture which shows the boat on the trailer. And we have this, the blue arrowheads here pointing to the crutch supporting the mast. And then I'll point out that the bimini can stay up while it's on the trailer because that crutch supports the mast above the bimini. And then I want to highlight this unique custom cover that was made for the boat. It is, again, specifically made for this boat and has special zippers and places where all the different rigging and different points come through, so that this will be able to cover the boat when it's trailered, also when the mast is up and when it's in a dock. The cleats are exposed so that you can tie off the boat, and an area where they can allow the mast to be coming through the center. So in this case, obviously the mast is not coming through. I do will point out that although the canvas is in excellent condition, the seams are wearing out or are separating in several places, highlighted here, which you can see in this picture along the side here, the separation here, and there's also a large separation which you can't see in this picture down the midline overlying the cockpit, and that just needs to be sewn together. But the material itself is in great condition, and this is something that's quite unique. Most of these boats don't have one of these. And then I will just leave you with some footage of us sailing the boat in some light wind. Pretty easy to manage this boat for even novice sailors. But it's also quite nimble and fun. In strong wind, if you want to, you can get it to heel a decent amount. But it remains overall quite stable because of the water ballast system. It would be extremely difficult to flip this boat, if not impossible.
I never took the time to lay my heart on the line.
So we're gonna tack here. So very easy to do. Jennifer just releases the port jib sheet and pulls in the starboard jib sheet as that head sail comes across. And I can just sheet out the main sheet. This is very easy to do on your own. You don't need two people to sail this boat. You don't need two people to really raise or lower the mast. It can be done totally on your own, but it's also large enough to accommodate a group of people.